Good day, everyone. My name is Stephanie UGBEYE, also the Vocal Expressionist. I'd like to describe myself as a passionate, creative, and versatile performer. I am a voice and on-camera actor, a singer, a casting director, producer, and media consultant. It is an absolute pleasure and great delight to be facilitating this session at the VOICEPRO KWARA Media Literacy Workshop 2024. I'd like to congratulate you for registering for this course. It's not easy. You've taken a bold step to learn how to find your voiceover niche and to deal with voiceover rejections. And that's exactly the topic that I will be teaching you on today. I want you to just check with your mindset and just think about it very quickly. Think about the fact that voiceover is not rocket science. What you really need to do is develop an accurate plan. Develop an accurate plan for your voiceover career and your voiceover journey, and make sure that you take practical steps and actions to accomplish your goals. This is the only way that you're going to thrive and get results in your craft. You need to focus on the positives and discard the negatives. So by that, I mean do away with limiting beliefs. Things like, oh, I'm not good enough. You know, all those thoughts that just spring up in your head like, oh, I'm not good enough. I am afraid to start. I don't know what people will think about my voice. I don't know if I'm good enough. I will do it tomorrow. I'll start next year. I'll start next month. You know, you keep procrastinating. And then you have the fear of rejections. You have this fear of failure. What will people think about my voice? What will people think about me? I don't think I can do this. You know, all those limiting beliefs. You need to do away with those thoughts. And you need to focus on positive things. How can I start? How can I challenge myself to begin? Why do I think I'm going to be great at this? Because your why is very, very important. That's the first thing you need to check. Why do I really want to do voiceover? And it's really all about giving value. It's not just about having a great voice and wanting to lend that great voice to projects. You have a much bigger task ahead of you. Okay? You have the responsibility of adding value to brand concepts, storytelling ideas, and serving various target audiences and even a wider audience. So this means that you'll be talking to people and connecting to people that you don't know. And the only way that you can do that is through developing skills that can make you connect with people. Your voice range, conveying the right and accurate emotions, using your natural voice, and doing that in the most appropriate and accurate way. It's a skill that you have to learn. Even if you're born with it and it's in you, you have to keep learning, you have to keep updating your skills and your knowledge. Learning never ends. That's what the voiceover craft is really, really all about. So focus on the positives and discard the negatives. Affirmation, meditation, declaration of positive thinking and thoughts, positive self-talk. I can do this. I have what it takes to do this. You have to keep reminding yourself that you have what it takes to do this. Of course, I'm sure that many of you here must have been hearing, oh, you have a great voice. You've been getting commendations from people saying that, oh, you have a great voice. So the question is, why haven't you started? That is a voice artist's biggest fear, the fear to start. I know that because I've been there, you know. So I know that that is the biggest or one of the strongest pain points of the voice artist, fear of starting. Why? Because you're thinking of validation. So I'd like to implore each and every single one of you listening to me right now, please, please, and please, stop seeking validation. You have to begin. You have to start where you are. You have a great voice. God has blessed you. And for every time that you use your voice, you give value and you receive value. Because in voiceover, you get paid to do the work. And you are also serving people. Like I said, we are serving target audiences. You're connecting with brands. You're connecting with target audiences. And so you're giving value. And many times you're going to actually enter your work for awards and get nominations and possibly even award wins. Okay? So you receive value and you give value. The only way that you can find your voice is to use your voice. That is it. The more you use your voice, the more people get to identify you for that. Finding your voiceover niche is very, very important. So how do you find your voiceover niche? Now, voiceover is a very, very vast field. It's not just all about TV and radio commercials. A lot of people think that that's the only areas that are involved in voiceover, radio and TV. It's a very vast field. You have so many other niche areas. You have IVR, which is translated as interactive voice response. Now, that is the voice that you'll probably hear on your telecommunication prompters like MTN, like Airtel, Nine Mobile, and other corporate institutions. So you pick up the phone and dial customer care service, and you hear something like, "If you'd like me to speak to you in English, please press 1." Now that's IVR, okay? There's so many corporate institutions that make use of those prompter services for their daily communication, just so that they can connect with regular customers or everyday customers. So there's IVR, there's ADR, automated dialogue response. You will find this with your Telemundo, your Z World, all of you here that like to watch Z World, you like to watch Telemundo. Now these actors have done the work in their own language, but because the idea is to reach a wider audience, these agencies that handle dubbing, which is another name for ADR, now these agencies hire voice artists like you and I to replace the dialogue of the actors, so that audiences can listen and understand what they're saying in English or any other language, or in Pidgin or any other language that they need to translate the language into, right? So that is another area. You have audiobooks, you have animation, you have movie trailers, you have narration, which is also very vast in its own field. You have corporate narration, you have medical narration, you have documentaries, you have bedtime stories. Voiceover is a very, very vast field. You have video games. Even now you have spoken word, and you have theater presentations, or theatrical performances. So voiceover is even expanding. There's so many areas involved, and there's so many things that you can do. So how do you find a voiceover niche? The first thing you need to ask yourself is, what areas am I interested in? What areas do I love to do? What areas am I passionate about doing? Now, many years ago, while I was interning in a radio station, I did a lot of script reads. I did a lot of narration, announcer reads. I did a lot of storytelling. And then I did a lot of radio commercials, because of course I worked in a radio station. So many clients would just come around and be like, "Oh, I need a voice artist to do this particular read for me." So it was just really a perfect way for me to get to do these reads without even knowing that I was doing voiceover. I was doing these reads, I was doing all of these recordings, not knowing that I was doing voiceover, because right from a very young age, I've always loved to read. And so I took up this passion, and it grew with me up until the point that I interned at the radio station and I was doing all of this. But I did not even know that all of these areas were under the umbrella of voiceover. It took many more years, and for me to train at the VOICEPRO Academy, for me to realize that, oh wow, even animation is under voiceover, So you need to find what you're passionate about. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, while I was interning, I had this knack for radio commercials. And so even before I signed up for training, I knew that I wanted to do radio voiceovers. And so by the time I was trying to align my talent with different niche areas, radio commercials was number one. Radio commercials was the first one that came to mind. So think about what you're passionate about. Think about all of the things that come to you naturally. Maybe you love to narrate bedtime stories to children. You love to do documentaries. You love to connect with people on this nurturing level, maybe as a customer care representative, and you have this warmth in your voice, or maybe you have this energy. Your voice is energetic, and so you can do promos, you can do hypes, you can do even Pidgin voiceovers with all the energy and everything. You need to think about these things, because it is when your talent aligns with your passion, that you will find ease. It will come to you naturally. It will feel very fluid. It will not feel forced. I always advise people that are just starting in voiceover to explore, which is also what I did when I was starting out. I did not only commercials, but I did documentaries as well. I did a whole lot of voice acting for animation. I was just exploring my talents, because when you explore, you get to realize that you can do several niche areas, which is also a credit. It's also an advantage for you. The more niche areas you can do, the more money you make. And that makes your life so versatile, because you can do this and you can do this. So it's very advisable for you to explore your talent and do different voiceover areas, so that you can know which of these areas align with your talent and even your personality, because you have to bring your authentic self to voiceover. Voiceover is the art of performing voiceovers in an authentic and believable manner. It has to be natural. It doesn't have to feel forced. The minute it begins to feel forced and begins to sound robotic and plastic, people are going to tune out of the message. You want to ensure that your voice amplifies the message, all the scripts that you're reading, all of the content that you are interpreting, so that it connects with a wider audience, or it connects with your target audience, because this is exactly what spurs your audience to action. It's not just how beautiful your voice is, but how you connect with them. Are you trying to invite them to an event? Are you trying to get them to patronize a new product, or to patronize a service, or to buy a product? Are you trying to get them to donate to a cause? Are you trying to get them to follow instructions? Are you trying to entertain them? Are you trying to educate them? Are you trying to motivate them? These are reasons why we do voiceover. You need to put all of this into perspective, and you need to understand why you're doing the voiceover. You need to understand how that connects with your talent. So the first thing I've said is find out what you're passionate about and explore your talent, explore your gifts. The way that you can explore is by downloading scripts. You can download scripts from edgestudio.com. You can download scripts from VOQuent, or VOQuent, like I like to call it. These sites have free scripts that you can practice with. All you have to do is download these scripts and then go to your practice space and practice consistently. Guys, if you're not willing to practice, then you're not willing to do voiceover. No matter how versed you are in voiceover, you need to keep practicing. Whether it's 5 years, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, you need to keep practicing. And the good thing about voiceover is that it's a craft for all ages. It's not about, oh, it's only for the young. It's for the young and old. Whether you are under 10 years, or you are in your 20s, you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you are in your 70s, 80s, you can still do voiceover, and you can still make money from doing voiceover. So it's very, very important that you put all of this into perspective. Understand that there is a place, there's a market for every single talent. As they say, the sky is big enough for all of us to fly. There is competition. There is competition in the industry. Believe that there is competition, stiff competition, especially on P2P sites, pay-to-play sites, where you have so many talents that are scrambling for the same work that you're auditioning for. So it's more like the survival of the fittest, because it's not just really about how great your voice is, but your voice has to match what the client wants. It's how your voice matches with the client's brief. Is the client happy with the way you convey those emotions? How your voice fits perfectly with the character that they're auditioning you for? So these are things that you need to think about. It's not just, oh, this person got this job, this person got this job, I've been auditioning, I've not gotten any job. If you have that kind of mindset, you will just be a bitter person in voiceover. Okay? So just really think about these things very closely. Make sure that you practice consistently, because if you do not practice, you're not going to get better. You need to practice consistently. A very good way to start is by reading out loud. Pick up a script and read out loud. And when I mean look for scripts, I don't just mean go to the website, go to different websites and download them. Anything can be a script. There's a Bible right in front of me. This is a Holy Bible. Every scripture, every chapter, every verse is like a script. You can read it. You can practice. You can wake up in the morning, open Psalm 23 and start reading out loud. You can pick up a newspaper article, start reading it, and let it feel like a documentary. You can pick up a bedtime story, especially if you have kids and you have storybooks. Act like you're reading bedtime stories to your kids. It's a good place to start. Read out loud. Read out confidently in front of the mirror to develop your confidence, because that's why you practice. You practice so you can develop your confidence. It's not just about, oh, I'm practicing and, I just want to get my voice heard. I just want to talk. No. You're practicing so you can build confidence, because you need confidence in voiceover. You need to be very confident about what you're saying, how you're connecting with people. So you practice consistently. You practice by reading out loud. And then you explore different niche areas, especially if you feel that you are passionate about these areas. Podcasting, talk hosting, all these are also areas of voiceover. Animation. If you want to learn animation, or you want to learn about character interpretation, where you have audio dramas, you have animation, you have video games, then you also have to learn by observation. Consume content widely. That's another way that you can learn. Go online, watch a wide range of content, because when you consume content, you also learn to motivate yourself and build confidence, and you get to be inspired by other people's creativity. You get motivation, you get inspired to even create. So it's very, very important that you consume content. Consume content widely. Stand-up comedy, film, voiceover. There's so many influencers online, on YouTube, on TikTok, on X, on Instagram. Follow these people. There's so many challenges on TikTok where you can do TikTok duets. If you do not practice, you will not get better. Remember what I said about finding your voice. When you find your voice, then you use your voice. And when you use your voice, you get to give value and you get to receive value. That's how it works. So that's how you find your niche. You find your niche by exploring, by finding the areas that feel natural to you, that align with your talent. And then ultimately, you find your niche knowing that the client determines that. What areas are you mostly getting gigs for? What areas are you getting main bookings for? Is it commercials? Is it e-learning? Is it corporate narration? Now, these are other areas of voiceover as well. So what areas do you find clients always booking you for? That's how you get to know your strong points, because you need to find your strengths. What areas are you really strong at or strong in? You cannot do everything in voiceover. Don't be deceived, or don't deceive yourself by thinking you want to do everything. No matter how professional you are, or no matter how talented you are, you cannot do everything. If you've tried medical narration before, you will bite your tongue. By the time you hear trypanosomy, different terminologies that will just make you go, oh my goodness, because of it. But then there are people that are versed in doing that. Maybe they've worked in the medical field, maybe they are also nurses, they are doctors, or they have experience in that field. But then it just happens that they are very, very versed in this area. So don't use somebody else's strengths to measure up yours. Don't do that. Don't use somebody else's strengths to measure yours. No. Focus on your own strengths. That's all that matters. It's not all about, this person is doing this, so I want to do this too. No. Follow your own lane. Be in your lane. If it's commercials you want to do, follow that line. If it's documentaries you want to do, follow that line. Because, like I said, the sky is big enough for everybody to fly. And clients are looking for talents that can do different areas. So find those areas and know that those are the areas that you want to market yourself for, or you want to promote yourself for. So in your bio, you can put voice artist based in Lagos or in Warri or in Abuja or wherever. Specializes in the following areas, specializes in the following niche areas: commercials, documentaries, e-learning, corporate narration. That's it. You don't have to do everything. Focus on what you can do. Even if it's one thing that you can do, focus on it. How many languages can you speak? Can you speak Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Pidgin? Not every time English. You need to think about these things, because the more languages you can speak, the more you can also incorporate them in these niche areas and make more money. And you can explore your talent. There are clients that are looking for artists that can speak Yoruba, speak Pidgin, speak Hausa, speak Igbo. So it's all about what you can do and how best you can do it. Incorporate all your talents. Be explorative, be creative, be unique, be dynamic. Now, some people may argue that there's a difference between voiceover and voice acting, which is actually true. Because voiceover is narration-based, voice acting is character interpretation based. So you'll find a lot of that in dialogue reads, in your animation where you're talking to other characters, in radio dramas, in video games. But I like to define voiceover as voice acting. And what is voice acting? Voice acting is acting. There's a difference between how far now? How far? Different interpretations. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it just really depends on how you can convey these emotions. How best you can do that. Every time you pick up a script, you need to analyze the script. You need to ask yourself why you're doing it. You need to ask yourself who you're talking to. You need to know about the call to action. Is there a website, phone numbers you need to call out? Is there a date that people need to know about, especially if it's about an event, if it's an event-based project? You need to know these things. You need to know what you're working with. So your client determines your voiceover niche areas, the selection of your voiceover niche areas. Even if you are doing an IVR project, you still have to smile. It's all acting. Even if you're not in the mood to do the recording, by just really stepping into the studio, doing your voice prep and getting ready to record, you have to smile because you need to have that nurturing tone in your voice. You are dealing with customers. So you can't be saying, "Welcome to MTN. If you'd like me to speak to you in English, please press 1. They will say, are we fighting? Your customers will feel like you're fighting. But when you go, "Welcome to MTN. If you'd like me to speak to you in English, please press 1. Then it feels like, oh, okay, okay. So this person has a nurturing tone. They are willing to provide a solution to my problem. So that's acting. One of the biggest wishes or dreams of a voice artist is to have repeat clients. So you want clients to always come back and hire you. And that is why you need to do your voiceovers very well. You need to do a great job, an excellent job. You need to train. As you're practicing, you have to sign up for training, because when you sign up for training, that's how you learn the ropes. You learn to do it right. You don't get stuck in old ways, because the way people were doing voiceovers in 1999 is different from what we have in 2024. It has changed. You have to use your natural voice. You're required to use your natural voice. All those introducing the new, it's old school. Introducing the new Milo, you just really have to use your natural voice. You have to learn to use your natural voice. You have to learn about voice elements, how to incorporate pitch, volume, pace, tone, all of that into your voiceover or your voice acting. Very important. So now let's talk about how to deal with rejections, which is very, very important. First of all, you need to understand that rejections are inevitable. It will always happen. And it's not just voiceover. In every area of life, sometimes you apply for a job, you don't get a call back. Sometimes you apply for so many other things. You do auditions, movie auditions, you do monologues, send monologues after monologues, you don't get any callbacks. That's a form of rejection. Because it feels obvious that they don't want you, or they did not find your work appealing or inviting, or they did not happen to match your voice, your acting with any character. So rejections happen every day. Rejections happen all the time. You need to understand that rejections exist. So it is okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel bad. But don't let it define you. Don't let it define you, because rejections happen every day of our lives and in our lives. You need to take rejections like a part of life, a way of life. You move on. We move. You need to get past that. Don't stay there. Don't stay down. All right? Acknowledge your feelings. These things exist. You're feeling bad, you're feeling sad. It's okay. It's okay to feel bad. Yes, because sometimes you've worked so hard, you've been auditioning several times, and you're not getting any callbacks. It's very, very painful. But what do? You move on. You don't stay there, right? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So if you're feeling bad, will you be miserable forever? Will you wallow in misery forever? No, you have to get up and move. Tell yourself that tomorrow will be better. Yes, I did not get a call back, or I got a rejection email, but tomorrow will be better. I will get a client that will find my voice useful for their projects. And this is exactly what takes us back to embracing the positives and discarding the negatives. Self-positive talk. I can do this. My voice is beautiful. My voice is unique. Have self-positive talk. All right? Set achievable goals. Not every time I wish I could do voiceover. I want to start doing voiceover. People have been telling me I have a great voice. What steps have you taken to start? You have signed up for this training. What steps are you going to take after this training to start your voiceover career? Very important. You need to go for training. You need to practice consistently. You need to read out loud. Ask yourself, how many times can I practice in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year? Have a calendar. Plan a calendar. If you don't set achievable goals, you will not get results. You will not be results oriented. And then it will feel like other people are thriving and you are not getting anywhere. You feel like village people are worrying, whereas you are the village person that is worrying yourself. Don't be that kind of artist. Take action. Understand that you need to be mindful. You have to take responsibility for your actions, even when you get rejections. Ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? What did I do wrong? Sometimes it may be because you did not follow instructions. They asked you to send your files in a particular way. You did not send your files in a particular way. Maybe they said MP3, submit in MP3 format. You submitted it in WAV format. Be very, very particular about instructions. Maybe the subject of the email, they asked you to write voiceover audition, and you did not even put any subject there. Casting directors are very busy people. You need to make their time worthwhile. Give them exactly what they want, because they are listening to other auditions, dozens of auditions. Okay? So you need to make sure that you do the right thing. It could be because you did not follow instructions, you got a rejection. So always take responsibility for your own actions as well. Check with yourself. It could be that your audio was bad. Maybe as a casting director was listening to your audition, they were hearing, as I'm talking to you now and I'm doing this, that's a lot of noise. You'll be like, that's noisy. Imagine your casting director hearing that in your audio. You will not get the gig. Let's be real. Let's not deceive ourselves. So you also need to be mindful. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Oh, I practiced 5 minutes yesterday. That's something. You did well. Focus on your wins. Celebrate your wins. Your wins don't always have to be about big awards and big milestones. You have to focus on the little things that are making you progress, that are making you move forward. What did I achieve today? What am I going to achieve tomorrow? Set achievable goals and celebrate your wins. Celebrate your small achievements. All right? You need to do all of these things. So what steps can you actually take to move past rejections? You need to build visibility. Building visibility is not about having 100K followers first. No. It's not about having 200K followers. You can have 5 followers, 50 followers, 100 followers, and still make impact. If people do not see what you're doing, if people do not hear your voice, how can they hire you? Is it in your bedroom that you're wishing that you're a voice actor or a voiceover artist that they will hire you? No. You have to go out there. You have to make an impact with your voice. The only way you can find your voice is by using your voice. Use your voice so that you can get identified, so that you can give value and receive value. So you need to be visible on social media. Belong to a wider community. While you are here in KWARA, or while you are here together, you can form a group, a community. Somebody is a voice artist, somebody is a sound engineer, somebody is a copywriter. You guys can collaborate and you can create magic. Not everybody is going to do voiceover, but you can actually be a stakeholder in that craft. You can be a copywriter, you can be a voice artist, you can be a sound engineer, you can be a casting director, you can be a voice director. Somebody who has a good listening ear for nuances and can bring ideas together and get talents to work together. You can do that. So it's all about what you can do. Form a community, because when you belong to a community, then you can hold yourselves accountable to your actions. Okay, guys, let's practice these tongue twisters today. Let's do these vocal warm-ups and exercises today. Let's actually practice this script today. Today we'll be focusing on breathing. Today we'll be focusing on commercial reads. Today we'll be focusing. You have to develop that. You have to build that. There's this saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Build a community. Belong to a wider community. There are other communities you can join on X, on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn. Do not joke with community. Very, very important. Belong to a community. It's always great to have mentors that can guide you, that can train you, that can tell you what to do and how best to do it, that can give you pointers. Seek mentorship. All right, whether it's in your local space or even international mentors, it's very important that you seek mentorship. You have to keep learning. Learning never ends. Online, offline, learn everything that you can about this craft. Update your knowledge. There's a lot of things happening now in the voiceover space. You need to update your knowledge. You need to practice more. You need to develop your craft. You need to build your confidence. You need to ask yourself why you're doing this and why it's important for you to achieve results. If you do not gather knowledge, you will not know any better. And if you do not know any better, you will not use your voice. So I'd like to implore each and every single one of you to keep learning. Find your voice, use it, and make that decision today that you're going to use your voice, because that's the only way that you will start. Do not be afraid to start. Don't seek validation from other people. What would they think? My voice is not good enough. People are doing better than me. If I start, discard the negatives. Focus on the positives. So by now, I am sure that you are enlightened about how to find your voiceover niche areas, how to deal with rejections, and how to move past rejections. I hope that you found this session very insightful. It's been an absolute delight facilitating this session and talking to you about this topic. Please take action and use your voice. Goodbye and God bless.